Thank you very much. I would like to welcome all of you. Of course, 10 minutes are not enough to fit in the very important subject. So, I would like just to express my view on some of the issues which have been already taught in the first panel. So, yeah. Under separatism, we unite several definitions, but there is a difference between them. Irredentism and particularism. Irredentism is a use of separatism and self-determination. By using this, an attempt of one country to attach another state to its own territory. Let's take Czech Republic, Poland, the Danzig corridor, joining it to its territory, which has not been a result of irredentism or separatism. We have seen irredentism in Northern Ireland and Ireland, so mainly these notions come from the Ireland issue. And Nagorno-Karabakh conflict is assessed as a separatism, whereas Armenia is an occupant, is an occupation of the Azerbaijani territories by Armenia. So under the flag of occupying the Nagorno-Karabakh, in addition to this occupation of 7 adjacent territories. Irredentism is a decentralization, but is not secession. For example, Tatarstan and Yakutia, they have never put forward the issue of to separate from Russia, but there have been intentions to reduce independence from Russia. Or in Italy, there is a Northern League of parties who do not want to separate from Italy, but from the other side want the southern Italy and Sicily, that they want to feed and separate from this. So there are such processes. We have to distinguish them, because without assessing the processes correctly in politics, solving an issue is impossible. And we're not only talking about the attitude of big powers, but also the interference of the interested parties do not allow these conflicts to be solved. Let's take Georgia. There is a territory in Georgia where the Azerbaijanis have lived in a compact way. But due to the right relations between Azerbaijan and Georgia for a long time, there have been never separatism intentions in this region, because the Azerbaijani government has never allowed this to happen. So then the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict has been ignited by Armenia, and they have been keeping this so far. There have been such a geopolitical situations. By worsening the relationships with Georgia, Armenia will be in an isolated way. Well, despite the fact that in Zaporizhzhia there are some separatist intentions, but without the support from Yerevan, they did not openly confront the Georgian government. Therefore, these processes have not evolved, and they are like frozen. So, external influences are irredentism, and when we assess the processes, we have to see this. From one side, they say the Nagorno-Karabakh people is self-determination, but they do not only cover the occupant intentions. Armenians' old legal framework has cover over the Nagorno-Karabakh. The telephone prefixes, the course plates, financial support, military support, all come from Armenia, the Nagorno-Karabakh. The Prime Minister Pashinyan openly declares that the Nagorno-Karabakh people has the determination right and Azerbaijan should accept it. But they do not even hide this. They sent their sons of Prime Minister to have a military service in Nagorno-Karabakh. How can we assess this? This is an open occupation and they do not deny this. And unfortunately, the world can see this and does not assess this adequately. Once Azerbaijan has regained its independence, has faced separatism and occupation from Armenia. The government had been weak in 92-93 through this period of time, and as a result of the external interferences in Azerbaijan, the north of Azerbaijan, where Avars, Lezgins live, as a result of the external interference and influence, the separatism intentions were felt, rather than, although there were no open intentions of such. So, if you remember, there was an announcement of the Talysh Mugan Republic, so-called, but there was no support from the nation, from the people there. Therefore, these movements were stopped in a very short period of time and were removed from the political agenda. The Lezgis and Avars living in the north of Azerbaijan, they live absolutely together with the Azerbaijani people. All their cultural rights are guaranteed, and therefore there was not the possibility to bring them on a level of separatism. From the other side, in Russia, they have understood that this is not a one-sided process. When separatism started in Azerbaijan, connected with Lezgis and Avars, in the northern Caucasus, the situation was not stable. When they started to feel this headache, they withdrew from this intention. Therefore, I reiterate that when there is no external interference, the government can come to consensus with its own peoples by ensuring the economic stability, has been able to solve these issues. But unfortunately, the solution of the NK problem from this point of view was not possible. In the first stages of the conflict, the peoples of the Nagorno-Karabakh, the population of Nagorno-Karabakh actually, by raising their capacities, there were groups who wanted to solve this issue within the framework of the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan, but they were homicide and killed and removed from the scene when I was working as the secretary government. So some political figures came from NK came to Baku. They wanted to enter the discussions with the government of Azerbaijan. Once they returned, they were assassinated. So all the groups who wanted to find a compromise with the Azerbaijani government, they were just assassinated and solved this issue that way. As for the secession of the Nagorno-Karabakh, I would like to speak about some arguments in favor. When the USSR collapsed, Azerbaijan announced its independence. There was a referendum announcement in NK to secess from Azerbaijan. It was not true. The only republics who separated from USSR have been the Baltic countries, and there was the State Council in the USSR, and the State Council in the USSR confirmed the decision of the Baltic republics to separate from USSR. All the other allied republics did not actually leave the USSR. As the USSR collapsed, the independences were accepted after the Belavesh agreement, and then the gathering in Almaty. The declaration on the collapse of the USSR was adopted. And as for the borders, who is going to separate? There was the utis sapicendis, there was such a principle. The Spanish colonies, when they gained their independence, there was a decision made. The administrative borders between the rice kingdoms have been accepted as the state borders. The same principles were applied to the colonies who gained independence in Africa. Not to start wars with each other, this decision was made. So the borders between the colonies were accepted as the state borders. The same principle was applied when Yugoslavia collapsed. Therefore, for somebody to start a referendum or self-determination, the references to this have no legal grounds. When Nagorno-Karabakh wanted to separate from according to the USSR rules, we're talking about this, then the USSR should have had a decision by their own council, and the results of this referendum should have been approved or disapproved. And then the National Council of the USSR should have approved this. So if there was no legal process, and the legal process did not start and did not complete, and therefore referring to this is groundless. The territorial integrity of Azerbaijan has been officially acknowledged by all international organizations. There is no other way. Those who are close to Armenia, neither France nor Greece have accepted NK separate from Azerbaijan, and cannot do that because it is not in line with their own interests. In all documents of UN, accepted by UN, the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan is observed, and the territorial integrity of Armenia is observed. Armenia has not acknowledged the NK independence and cannot do that. Why? If they acknowledge it, accept it, so within the framework of which boundaries then? Because there are 7 adjacent regions of the Nagorno-Karabakh also under occupation. By recognizing the borders, they will be in a position to confront with the UN documents. And Armenia understands very well. None of the countries, even with those who are close to Armenia, will never support this decision. And the UN Security Council will make a decision to cancel this decision and so on. Therefore, then, their claims are not limited by NK only. In addition to this, they also want to, together with NK, take Kalbajar and Lechin to join to Armenia. Therefore, for NK with Kalbajar and Lechin to become independent, this is what they want, and then to attach this to Armenia. In NK, there used to be 45,000 Azerbaijanis. In Kalbajan, 55,000 Azerbaijanis lived. In the Lechin region, 65,000 Azerbaijanis lived. So the number of Azerbaijanis in the regions which Armenia went to separate from Azerbaijan and join to Armenia is much more than Armenians. Therefore, it's not possible to carry out to hold some referendum and decide on that. All the negotiations, as if the world does not support the separation of NK from Azerbaijan, but from the other side, try to make Azerbaijan to go for a compromise, to voluntarily separate NK from Azerbaijan, or open the way to join NK to Armenia. they are not intended to change the international law. They just want to open the ways for some precedents, because if somebody recognizes a person of NK from Azerbaijan, then it will be not possible to go against joining Crimea to Russia. Then let's take Abkhazia, Ossetia. They are in separate part of Georgia, but therefore they cannot accept the separation of Nagorno-Karabakh from Azerbaijan. Again, I reiterate, as if they tried step by step in all negotiations to make Azerbaijan to go for a compromise, to voluntarily agree to separate NK from Azerbaijan. But Azerbaijan has an unchangeable position in this matter, and in the speech of the President of Azerbaijan for the anniversary of 100 years of the establishment of the parliament, NK cannot have any legal status out of the boundaries of Azerbaijan. And this position of Azerbaijan, I believe that will never change. So with this short speech, I would like to finalize. If there are questions, I'll be happy to answer them.